Welcome to v8sonline's live coverage of the V8 Supercar Official Online Series presented by Extreme Sim Gear, Direct Clutch Services and V8 Supercar Fan Group. Round 2 of the Iracing.com official V8 Series from Oran Park. Very nostalgic race tonight, 40 laps around this amazing circuit. Jay Kennedy and Stephen Sandman Clark joining you for all the coverage here on v8sonline. G'day Sandman.
Hello, Mr. Kennedy. Hello, everyone. Yeah, brilliant to be at Oran Park. It's we're very lucky that Iracing's gone to the trouble to capture Oran Park in its glory days, and yeah, I'm thrilled that we're actually racing here. It's really good that it's part of the championship. Yeah,
can't wait to bring all the action tonight. Full 25 car grid tonight for this race as well. We've had 100 drivers sign up with nostalgia tonight. So 4 splits. We're bringing you the main event, the top split. Madison Down starting from pole position, 1 minute 5.905. The only driver into the 1 minute 5s for the week. Richard Hampstead at 106.012. Then Justin Ruggier, Josh Muggleton, George Maris, Val Riches, Michael Fabian, Scott McLaughlin, Paul Gallen, John Emerson, Robert Hartley, Simon Black, Lee Ellis, James McKnight, Dylan Goulson, Cal Watmore, Sam Collins, Anthony Kernich, Chabrel, Matthew Barron, Cohen May, Sean Kelly, Marty Atkins, Michelle Karuna, and Chris Lucky.
It's incredibly close to qualifying times, isn't it? I mean, look at that, those top few. A 5.9 to a 6.01, 6.07, 6.07. I mean, that's exactly how you want your racing.
Yep, nice and close. Should hopefully have a nice close race. We will see a lot of action. We will no doubt see cars spinning, crashing, and flying off the track at turn 1 and 2 throughout the race. We'll try to bring as much of the action of all the chaos that we can.
And we touched a little bit, somewhat of a fuel-saving race for some people, more so for some others. You know, maybe the guys that are up the front, you know, cutting those 6.0s and 5.9s, but some of the guys down the back who are maybe not as quick, it may actually work in their favour a little bit, where they don't really have to save any fuel.
And that'll be what will keep the racing nice and close. You've got guys that are fuel saving with guys behind that aren't fuel saving. And it's a very, very, very tough track to pass. Probably one of the hardest. We say every week that it's a hard track to pass on. But there's really no passing spots on this track.
Yeah, I know. I found myself in the earlier race, you're pretty much just praying that you know, the guy in front of you just has a little moment and gives you enough that you can make sort of a run, you know, down the inside. So yeah, very tricky, but I think that's why everyone's here. It's a great racetrack, very close, and I can't wait to see how this all unfolds.
It's definitely going to be a very nostalgic night tonight. Well, Oran Park no longer with us, sadly. But good to have the real life laser scan version to the millimeter that we've got now with iRace. So it's great to have this track that's no longer around in real life in a digital form that is as close as you can get. Yeah, we've mentioned it last. Make sure you keep your eye out on the V8 Supercar fan group. Cars may have something hidden somewhere. Won't say any more. In the coming weeks for competition, and some good prizes. We'll announce more in the coming weeks. Make sure you like them on Facebook as well, V8 Supercars fan group. They have some pretty good stuff over on their page as well as their website as well, v8supercarfangroup.com.au.
Yeah, exciting competition. I know when we were having our little our chats off air, and to hear, you know, some of the ideas we got coming up in the coming weeks, and this giveaway is sensational. So yeah, very, very much worth your while for tuning in and listening to us two scallywags, and yeah, you might find yourself picking up a fantastic prize.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed we'll be able to give away a whole heap of stuff throughout the next 12 months. Of course, this is round 2 of the official online series. It should be a very, very good race tonight. Madison Down starting from pole in the Tats.com Falcon. Richard Hampstead starting from P2, but Hampstead on the inside and a little bit better than a starter of a starter from Madison Down. So turn 1 and 2 definitely going to be action packed.
The revs rise here at Oran Park, round 2, the Iracing V8 Supercar Series. About to get underway and we're off. Madison down, off to a good start, but up the inside, it's Richard Hampstead. He's got the perfect line into turn 1.
And Muggleton's going to sneak in there as well. A little bit of a touch with Ruggier. Looks like we're going to get through turn 1 unscathed. Fantastic job by all the drivers to get through turn 1.
Oh,
No, had a crash.
big carnage underneath the
Alice.
Wow.
Sean Kelly up on the tyre barrier. He's stuck there. You know, praising everyone, and all hell's broken loose.
Yeah, it's such a tough part of the racetrack. You get cast sideways underneath that bridge. There's literally nowhere to go. So, yeah, unfortunate to have an incident right there because there's just no way of escaping the crash. So, bad luck for some of the guys who got involved there.
Yeah, 4 wide coming into the bridge. You've got McKnight, Alice, Barron, Watmore trying to find a little bit of track. McKnight and Alice come together, 2 into 1, didn't work, and Kelly comes storming through. He had nowhere to go and he's ended up beached on the tyre bundle. Mitch Averill involved as well. Sorry, Sam.
Sorry, mate. I was just going to quickly go through the top order. It's Richard Hampstead over Madison Down, Josh Muggleton, Justin Ruggier, Var Ritchies, and then you've got a good battle back there with Scott McLaughlin and George Maris.
You saw in the early race tonight, Maris and McLaughlin, they were getting very, very close, a bit of touching, a bit of rubbing, and I think that's how we remember Oran Park in the past, a little bit of rubbing, a little bit of get out of my way.
Yeah, we don't mind a bit of argy-bargy, so yeah, the guys are turning it on this week, but such a difficult racetrack to get the power down, so many bumps and undulations, and that's what probably makes Oran Park so special. It does sort of set it apart from a lot of the other tracks.
Yeah, I don't think we mind the argy-bargy. I don't think the drivers in the race like the argy-bargy too much, but we don't mind.
No,
go for it, guys.
It's easy up in the commentary box, isn't it?
Yeah, it's easy every week. Back to Matthew Barron and Paul Gallen. Gallen in 12th, Barron in 13th. Emerson, Fabian and Hartley on the screen at the moment. And Maris has made another mistake. And Emerson's now closed up right behind. There's a massive freight train behind George Maris.
It looks like he may be struggling a little bit with his car, depending on what his pressures are to start the race with. I know personally, I probably started my pressures a little bit too low in the race. It took a little while for my tyres to come on, so maybe that's what sort of he's experiencing. Maybe it's just going to take another lap or so just to get his pressures where he wants them.
Go back to the front, 0.3 of a second separating the front 2 drivers. Richard Hampstead, Madison Down. These 2 are your current championship leader and second place. Down in the lead, Hampstead second.
Yeah, both guys have been real pacey all week. Nothing in it in qualifying. We already saw that. So, and even in the earlier race, I mean, although Richard was quite pacey towards the end and had a decent margin, but nothing in it at this stage. The times are incredibly close.
Michael Fabian, probably most improved driver from last season. Actually picked up P4 in the early race tonight. And a lot of the guys in this race were racing in that early race, so great job from him to get a P4 out of this very, very tough field.
Yeah, like you mentioned, there's so many different names up through the field. It's brilliant to see these guys, not that we're too familiar with, to be running up the front with these guys. It's brilliant.
It looks like Carl Watmore's having an internet issue, but we see if we can go back to the front. There's a 1/10 of a second between first and second coming through turn 1 and 2.
We touched on how difficult it is to pass here. You pretty much half the time, these guys are just waiting for someone to make a mistake. So depending on what sort of run Madison can get, even the best run, this will make it pretty difficult to get the job done because there's so many tight twists and turns here. You're really sort of making a chance maybe down the front straight, but then you've got to hold your breath if you're going to make a move at that turn one. That's pretty scary.
Go back, this is 14th and 15th. 15th and 16th, sorry, Carl May, Dylan Goulson. May runs off the track a little. Very, very tough through that section of the track to actually keep it on the track. Run a little bit wide, there's a little bit of a bump, and if you miss that corner, the right-hand corner, ruins pretty much this whole section of the track. Takes you to the front straight to get your rhythm back.
So then I think George Barrows was talking a little bit earlier that maybe just waiting for his car to come to him, and that may be the case at the moment. He's just starting to open up a little bit of a margin over John Emerson. It was actually a couple of tenths quicker that last time around, so not all's lost for George, still a long way to go. Lap 6 of 40 around here, so the guys have got their work cut out for him.
He's actually, last lap around, he was faster than Madison Down, so his car's definitely coming to him later in this race. Still 35 laps to go, but 5 laps have gone very, very quick already. One exciting thing about this season as well, we've got quite a few shorter tracks in the series this season. Next week we're off to Zandvoort and we're doing a shorter version of the track than what we're used to. So it'll be a sprint race next week. Then we're off to Watkins Glen for an endurance round. We've got 3 enduros back to back.
Looks like the field's just starting to normalise themselves a little bit, just getting into a bit of a rhythm. Starting to spread themselves out a little bit up the front, but don't forget there's still that fuel number thing that we have to think about, because some of these fast guys up the front will have to save more fuel than others a little bit further down the pack, so that's still yet to unfold.
Emerson's closed back up on Maris again.
I'm excited we're doing a broadcast from here, because I was a bit disheartened that we missed it last season, obviously with Christmas and New Year and everything else that was happening. So although it was part of the championship, we never got to really see it and have everyone take part, because so many people had other commitments, obviously. So it's fantastic that everyone's here having a red hot go, and it's really, it hasn't let us down so far. The times have been incredibly close, and the racing throughout the week's been sensational.
Yeah, we probably could have broadcast the race last season, but I don't know how fit people would have been to race it and commentate it, because it was on New Year's Eve. So it would have been an interesting race to broadcast, but I don't think I would have been in any shape to do it. You're probably the same, Sandman. You're too busy doing other things.
Busy having too much fun. So never mind, it's here now, so it's brilliant.
Hampstead's managed to pull a little bit of a gap on Madison Down. It's now out to nearly a second. Then Muggleton, 30's about a second and a half behind. And Ruggie is struggling to hold on. He's about another 2 seconds behind as well. Go, Sam, man, sorry.
I was just going to say, it was just how good's this onboard from Gallen's car, just seeing the vision of Simon Black, I think that's in front of him. It's just moving around and just getting on the throttle, coming onto the front straight. It was brilliant.
It's a nice close battle, this one. This is 11th and 12th. Back up the track a little bit further, 7th, 8th, 9th. We've got Maris, Emerson, Fabian still going together. They're staying around about the 0.8 of a second gap between them. Staying quite consistent at that gap. This is Goulson and Collins, both with some war wounds. Collins hasn't got much left in that front splitter. Big dig in the back as well.
Things have changed a little bit. It's down to half a second between Hansted and Down now. So looked like for a stage there where Hammer was starting to pull away. I think it was out to over a second there at one stage. And it's like Down's either coming to him or Hampstead struggling. I will just have to wait and see how this plays out over the next sort of couple of laps.
Yeah, last lap around, Down got 3 seconds back on him and he's closing that gap. Hampstead actually looks like he might be starting to make a couple of very, very small mistakes, but that's enough for someone as good as Down to close up.
Yeah, or is he saving a bit of fuel too? I know it can be a little bit distracting sometimes rolling out the throttle easy. You know, sometimes you just miss your braking marker sometimes, you know, because you're not used to sort of stamping on the brakes and backing off the throttle. But these guys, no doubt, they've been doing it a while now, so they know what they're doing. So
back to the battle for 11th and 12th. Black, Gallen. 0.2 of a second separating those guys, and Paul Gallen thinks about making a little bit of a move. A bit of driving from both those guys. Lee Ellis coming out of the pits and just driving on the dirt to stay out of the way.
Yeah, brave bit of real estate. I think we saw a pretty good move by Justin Ruggier in the earlier race on that outside, making a couple of passes, but you don't want to do it too many times because it doesn't take much to have a whoopsie and fire him off into the tyres.
Carwin May, Anthony Kernich, side by side through this section of the track. It's not something you want to do. Sent it end in tears earlier in the week for quite a few guys side by side through here. Sam Collins has closed up. Dylan Goulson's unfortunately dropped off this pack. He had a bit of an off in turn one at this lap. A good three-way battle here.
Oh, I actually thought Koenig might have thought about sticking up the inside there, but I thought Ben Roberts' smart move because there's really no room to make a pass there, so he hasn't given up though.
Paul Gallen's dropped back behind Simon Black and is now getting some pressure applied from Matthew Barron. If we can find what happened with Gallen. I'm not quite sure what's happened with him there, but Barron now closed right up, looking to get a move done. Here comes Carwin May, Anthony Kernich still side by side. Sam Collins getting right in on this battle now too. Oh, a little bit of a touch.
Oh,
wow.
Lucky not to have the nose chopped off there.
Mitch Abril now getting involved as well.
Not sure, but I think I just said that last lap ago that it's probably not a good part of the track to make a move, but as Koenig may get a run here.
And look at Collins.
Yeah, Collins will be on the outside.
Oh, Collins almost got squeezed into the wall.
That's
lucky. Great driving.
Koenig had to give up some real estate just so it didn't fire him into the fence.
It's still too wide, and he goes May. That's gonna hurt his car a little bit. He'll lose quite a few spots. May drop back to 19th now. It looks like someone may have some engine trouble. We've got a bit of engine smoke on the track. We're not quite sure who that is. We'll see if we can find out. Might have been Sean Kelly actually that just blew up. Not a good night for him. A lot of commitment there from Michael Fabian out of the final corner, lighting it up.
Just watching it, just that inside front tyre on that ripple strip and upset the car a little bit. But
well, Maris has gone off.
Gathered up.
George Maris just ahead there's gone off the track. As we said, oh, wow.
He held on, lucky not to be facing the other way.
Oh, I was so worried that someone was going to come past and clean him up there. So Maris has dropped back to 10th. Emerson will move up to 7th, Fabian 8th. And Hartley has got through to move into 9th.
And that's exactly what we touched on earlier. You see the replay, he just ran wide, got the right front onto the gravel, and it was so hard to pull it up. He made contact with that wall, so fingers crossed there's not too much damage and he can carry on.
It doesn't look like he hit the wall too hard. He did a pretty good job to stop it from smashing into the wall. A little bit of damage to the front of the car, but looks like the car should be okay. Hampstead now 1.4 second lead over Down, and it's Muggleton, Ruggier, Riches and Scott McLaughlin in 6th position, Emerson, Fabian, Hartley and Maris, the top 10.
It's quite spread out, isn't it? It's probably a little bit more spread out than what we're used to. You know, normally you have these battles, you know, especially in the top 10, but these guys have sort of got a bit of space between them, which is not something we're used to.
Guys that haven't got any space between them. Abral's managed to get ahead of Kernage, but they're side by side into one. Abril nearly sideways under brakes into turn 1. That's commitment to the max.
I can't tell you how easy it is to fire off at that turn too. Everyone's doing a really good job as Kernage looks up the inside.
Oh, they're going to go side by side here. Goulston's closed back up on this battle as well.
Yeah, Kernage gets a run here at the right line, so there was no point really arguing the fact. A bit of damage there to Abril's car too.
A little bit of damage is an understatement. He got involved in that massive crash we had on lap 1. You're doing a good job to actually still be out there, I think.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Simon Black had a little bit of a breather from Paul Gallen closing up behind, but here he comes again. Paul Gallen's the man for ANZ Motorsport. He's the guy that gets their setups up and running to their standards every week. So he does a pretty good job to satisfy the guys that we see in the ANZ Motorsport crew. He's the guy they thank every week for their setups. So pretty good job to have those guys as competitive as they are, considering they probably get less practice than a lot of the other teams or drivers in the field.
Exactly, especially you got the likes of Scott McLaughlin, who we touched on before, how he's busy with these outside commitments, obviously with v8 Supercars and everything else. So it's actually quite handy to have someone like Paul in the team to have set up there and to work together with. That's such a big help coming into a race event.
Kernich, after he's got past Abril now, he's hunting down Sam Collins.
He was having a look. Collins, his fair share of panel damage there too. So yeah, Kernich, his times aren't too bad, and he's just got to be careful not to touch that gravel. Geez, I hold my breath every time I see cars come through there. I know how easy it is to fire it off.
Not quite at half race distance at the moment. Get back up a bit further in the field. John Emerson 7th position, Michael Fabian in 8th. Fabian's cutting into Emerson's gap little bit by little bit each lap.
As we check out Justin Ruggier on screen at the moment, he'd probably like to be a little bit closer to the action than where he is. He finds himself 6 seconds off Richard Hampstead for the lead, so a little bit of uncharted territory for Ruggier. You don't usually see him that far off the pace, but you know, could be saving fuel, could be saving something for the end. We're not quite sure.
It's a very tactical race, this one this week. As you see, Muggleton now, he's currently P3. He's about 2.5 seconds off from the front two guys. Just saying about Fabian closing the gap on Emerson. Now he's managed to pull an amazing move there. And Emerson's coming back up the inside.
Oh, side by side through there. They've got to be careful. Got to give plenty of room for each other. Great sportsmanship by both of them. Emerson had to get out of it there, with great appreciation there from Fabian as well, knowing that gave Emerson plenty of racing room. That was brilliant.
I think they were both too sporting there. They both gave each other enough room to get through, and neither of them wanted to take it.
Well, Hartley would love that, because that's slowed them up, and that's going to pull him a little bit closer into that battle, so that's good.
He gained 2 seconds on Emerson in that lap, Hartley, so he's closed right up, and here comes Emerson again. Oh. Great driving by both these guys here.
Love watching their tyres and be sort of approaching that. They've gone past their use by date a little bit too, because we're almost at the halfway mark of this race. So still another 20 laps to go on these tyres for these guys. So they're doing a brilliant job.
The battle back in the pack between Collins, Kernich, Abril and Goulson is still going as well. We'll get some pictures of that very soon. Look at how close they are. These guys have been at it all race. They've all changed positions. I think they've all had different position to where they are now. Good racing between these guys. They've been nice and clean. They've had a little bit of rubbing, but nothing too major. Gallon's closing right back up on black again. Lee Ellis on the screen at the moment. He's got a lot of damage to his car from the big turn 1 incident, or lap 1 incident.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Lee finds himself 9 laps off the leader, so sort of in a sticky spot, tucked up behind here with Barron. Because contact with Barron, you don't want to be doing that, because he's 9 laps down. But he's obviously on fresher tyres, but doesn't need to get involved and ruin Barron's race.
Now something's happened to Emerson. Fabian is now a little bit up the road from Emerson.
Yeah, he's got his hands full now. Hartley's all over the back. Just trying to see what the difference is. Like 6 7/10. So yeah, he's had a bit of a moment that last lap.
Up ahead a little bit, Vale Riches, Scott McLaughlin. Nothing between these guys now. So McLaughlin, as he was saying to us earlier, hasn't had a lot of practice this week, a lot of other commitments, and now this has been his practice, and 20 laps to go he'll actually start putting the foot down and getting into it.
Yeah, he'll have his work cut out getting past Richie's. Richie's a good steerer, so yeah, it's good to see this sort of pace out of McLaughlin. Like I said, next to no laps coming into today, so it's good to see that he's quickly got up to speed.
Go back to this battle between Kernich and Abril with Goulson behind. Collins has managed to pull a little bit of a gap. When I say a little bit of a gap, it's only 5 or 6 car lengths. That's probably the biggest gap we've seen between these guys the whole race.
It's actually a good effort by Kernich. We don't see him a lot, we haven't seen him a lot in the V8 series. He's probably more known for his oval track racing and the NASCARs and stuff, so it's good to see him sort of cutting it with these boys, not doing a bad job.
Go back to the battle for 5th. McLaughlin hounding behind Riches.
Look, the times between Richie's and McLaughlin next to nothing. Scotty 108.194 to a 108.145, so literally nothing in it. This shot will actually give you a good indication of just where Scotty's sort of making some sort of gain, especially through this turn one. Makes a little bit of gain there under brakes there.
And just looking as well in the timing, Muggleton's blowing a little bit and Ruggie is closing up. It's now just a second between those guys. Go back to the front. Hampstead 1.5 second lead. That's been fluctuating quite a lot down. Managed to pull 0.4 of a second back last lap on the gap Hampstead has. As I said, Hampstead from down. Then Muggleton and Ruggier. Justin looks like he's really, really pushing.
I'm just trying to. I think if I wanted to slot myself into one of these seats at the moment, you'd want to be in Hampstead's seat because, like you said, we've touched on how difficult it is to pass. So regardless of if anyone makes that pace up and he's a little bit quicker, all you need to do is sort of hit your marks and you know, maybe use the alternate line, as you'd say, Jay. And I think he's probably sitting in the catbird seat at the moment.
Yeah, I think it looks like Hampstead needs to make a mistake for down to catch now. They're putting out pretty consistent lap time, lap after lap. But I definitely think this battle for third is still going to come right down to the wire.
And looking at lap times too, absolutely nothing between Mugger and Ruggier too. So these guys are sort of trading lap for lap. So brilliant racing. Not long past the halfway mark of this race. Lap 24 of 40 around Oran Park. So still plenty left in it. Anything can happen, and we've spoken about how easy it is just to make a little whoopsie, and you know, with as close as it is up the pointy end, anything can still happen.
Long championship we've got too, so don't want to make a mistake that'll ruin your championship. Got 5th and 6th, Richards and McLaughlin. It was down to half a second, but McLaughlin a little bit too much wheel spin coming out of the final corner.
Oh, starting to hold my breath there a little bit there, coming through that turn one.
Something just happened to George Maris. He's had a spin in the final corner.
That's all
big loop around. He's actually in the pit. May have actually.
Don't forget, he made contact. He fired off at turn one and hit the tyre barrier at turn one. So maybe he's just carrying a bit of that damage, which is unfortunate for George.
Did a good job to keep it off the wall there, George. Actually, when he's spinning it back around, he's hit the wall. But, that'll probably be the end of Maris's race, which is pretty unfortunate. He did a pretty good job there at the start. Good battle with he, Emerson and Hartley. And we've got the leaders coming up into lap traffic as well. This could actually help Down close that gap. Probably another 3 or 4 laps and we'll see the... We're having a couple of issues there with Sandman at the moment. I'm sure he'll be back in just a second.
Fingers crossed I'm back.
There we go, now you got it. That worked. Probably 4 or 5 laps, I think we'll see the lap traffic really start to affect these guys. Now, strangely, it's probably one of the races where you see the most lapped cars that you that we have in a race in this series. It's such a short track. Got Val Richards, Scott McLaughlin. This is 5th and 6th. 0.5 of a second, half a second at the moment.
Do you think Richards is getting sick of looking in his rearview mirror, seeing McLaughlin hound in the back?
I think you'd prefer to see him in his rearview mirror than see him drive off into the distance.
Yeah, good point.
Third and fourth, it's down to just over a second. Still putting down pretty consistent lap times.
One battle that really hasn't given up all race long is this battle between Black and Gallen. These guys have been at it since the drop of the green flag, so still nose to tail. Gallen looking pacey, but Black doing a brilliant job. They're not doing anything wrong. They're hitting their marks, and their times are incredibly close.
They've been pretty close and consistent all race, so it's been good racing, been nice and clean. Probably two of the more respected drivers in the field as well.
This action on screen, Muggo's got his work cut out for him now, because Ruggie is all over the back of Muggo now. So I don't know if he's had dramas on that last lap, but that margin's really closed up.
Yeah, it was a second he lost that lap. Range looking at Muggleton's car, it doesn't look like he's struggling with tyres or anything. I'm not too sure. He might have just got a little bit too excited out of the final corner. I'm not 100% sure. I'll be guessing. So.
And we talk about that blind crest too over the hill where they're about to approach too. They may have, who knows, may have got maybe a slowdown, a cut track penalty just over that section there. So who knows? Yep. But that's definitely a possibility. Oh, see Ruggie struggling to get the power down coming on the front straight.
Yeah. Easy way to get. Still lost a little bit of time. We've got Richards and McLaughlin now. It's down to 0.4 of a second. Ruggie. Sorry, just caught the back end of that. Ruggie really sideways into turn 2. He just got it onto the dirt. I don't know how he actually held on to that.
We check out the replay. Oh, he just got the right sides into the dirt. He's so lucky to hold on to that. Lost a bit of time, but you'd rather lose that amount of time than fire it off into the fence.
I think that Justin might have actually got a slowdown penalty with the flip-flop. So 11 laps to go. Sorry. Go Sam, man. Sorry.
Sorry, buddy. Yeah, they crossed the line for lap 30. It's Richard Hampstead, sort of about a second lead over Madison Down at the moment. So, like we said, Hampstead doing it quite comfortable. Then it's Muggo in third, Justin Ruggie in fourth, Val Ritchie's in fifth, Scott McLaughlin sixth, Michael Fabian seventh, John Emerson eighth, Robert Hartley ninth, and Simon Black rounding out your top 10.
Now the battle for first and second is down to a second. Down is closed up again, as we said, coming up to lap traffic as well. If there are, we usually see that the first car gets held up, the second car gets through nice and easy, just the nature of racing. But in real life we see it in sim racing as well.
One battle I can't take my eyes off is this McLaughlin and Ritchie's battle. They're really close, and they've got, looks like Maris, they're coming up on Maris, who unfortunately had to make a pit stop a little bit earlier.
And unfortunate Sam Collins has actually dropped out. His internet connections let him down tonight. Unlucky for him, he was doing pretty well in 13th position. He's now unfortunately out of the race, so unlucky. Taking over that 13th, 14th position is Kernich and Avril.
Yeah, Kernich has got his hands full here. Avril's still got quite a good amount of pace on that thing, considering how bent up and bent out of shape it is. So he's doing a real good job keeping Kernich honest.
He's just applying enough pressure. You see Kernich doing a pretty good job not to make any mistakes, but he's definitely not driving as hard as he'd like to, knowing that he's got to look in his mirror at every corner. And Maris may have gone off the track at turn 1, which has been good enough to let Muggo and Ruggie through. as well as Riches and McLaughlin. Sorry, Riches and McLaughlin, who he was ahead of. Maris goes around again.
Yeah, he's obviously got a fair bit of damage with that car because his times have been good through the week. He's been quite pacey, and yeah, you've got to think that damage is playing a big part to his misfortune tonight.
Yeah, there's something wrong in the steering. Struggling big time.
Let's check out this battle between Muggo and Ruggier. 2.5 seconds, that's sort of gone out too. We know that Ruggier had his fair share of dramas, but I don't know, we're at that point of the race there, we've got sort of 8 laps to go, where he sort of doesn't want to be at that point where he gives up too much ground to Muggo, because like we said, it's hard enough to pass it as it is here, so it looks like he's moving around Ruggier's car, looks like in the rear, looks like he's not all that happy with it.
If you ever wanted to get involved in the V8 Supercar official online series, all you need to do, sign up to Iracing.com, have yourself a steering wheel and pedal, and you can come out on track and drive with these guys anytime you like. It's quite honestly that easy to jump out on track with the likes of Muggleton, Down, Hampstead, Ruggier and McLaughlin. Do it anytime you like. Then to jump over to Iracing.com, check it all out over there, and you can be part of the V8 Supercar official online series.
Yeah, and don't hesitate to say hello to the guys that you see with our broadcasts, everyone who takes part in the championship. Really great bunch of guys, and always there to offer a bit of advice with car setup and everything else too. So really approachable. So yeah, if you're not already, I suggest you get on board. It's really great racing.
Of course, if V8 Supercars isn't necessarily a thing, or you can't quite tame the beast, there's heaps of other things you can do. I know you're a big oval fan, Sam, man?
Yes, and some exciting times with NASCAR and iRacing. iRacing are about to release a new Chevy SS, which is based on our very own VF Holden Commodore, so that's exciting. And they're also going to release the Ford and the Toyota in the coming weeks too. So big times ahead for oval racing, but so many different cars, McLarens, Formula Ones, you know, so much to whet the appetite.
Yep, everything from a Ford Mustang to a Williams Toyota Formula One. Justin Ruggie has dropped now 6 seconds off the pace. Last lap around, a 1 minute, almost a 1 minute 10. So could we see Justin maybe use too much fuel?
You've got to think that, because just having a look at his race times, it's pretty much been the 107s every lap. So to see him sort of in the 8s, 9s, 10s now, that you've got to start thinking maybe fuel.
His car doesn't look like it's sliding around or anything, so to me it must be fuel. I'm not sure. Couldn't have done something as simple as not put enough in at the start, as we got, looks like Lee Ellis off inside. Thought for a second there it was Muggo, but the wrong, similar team livery, just the wrong colours. Six laps to go for reigning champion Richard Hampstead. Hampstead and Down have won the last 7 championships between them.
That's pretty impressive, isn't it?
With Mitch McLeod as well, they've won the last 8 championships been won between 3 guys, Hampstead, Down and McLeod. McLaughlin now close enough on Vale Riches to look at maybe making a move.
Yeah, Scotty's been following him enough now. He's probably got some sort of fair idea where his car's better over Vale, but he's got to get it done shortly, because we're 5 laps to go. So obviously he'll know. Oh, look at the ground he makes up just through there. So I think his best chance is to obviously at that last turn get close enough and hopefully make sort of some move up the inside. But it's a big ask. Oh, big moment there for Scotty. Looks like he got maybe on the grass, but managed to hold on to it. Didn't lose too much ground, which was good.
May have actually hit that bump we were talking about before. There's a really, really definite bump when you're on the outside and you miss the apex. into the right-hander there. There's a massive bump that you hit. Your car just becomes very unstable, but he's close enough now. Look at the run.
Yeah, that gain he had through that last turn is pretty good. So he's probably thinking, what, just going by the looks of that, he knows that his car's strong in that section. And if he can get a decent run and maybe get up the inside here, he could get the job done. Contact!
Oh, a little bit of a touch.
Nose to tail. That's just a bit of rail just to let him know that he's right there.
Attention, Vale Riches, I'm coming for you. That's what you call knocking on the door.
Yeah, you're not wrong. He's, like I said, he's at that pace, down the front straight. That'll just rattle Vale's cage a little bit maybe and could work in Scotty's favour. But yeah, we've seen how easy it is to make little whoopsies, and if you can just play a bit of the mind game with him and force him into a mistake, that pass will be a lot easier for Scotty than it could turn out to be.
One thing though, Rich is probably one of the most consistent drivers we have in the series. Always nice and smooth. His lap times are very, very, very close over a race distance, so it's going to be hard to unsettle, I think. Dylan Goulson just had a bit of a spin through turn 1 and 2.
Did a good job to keep it off the tyre barriers.
Probably better to spin it right around than just roll into the tyres.
Yes.
The Hampstead 1.3 second lead over Madison Down. Madison Down is closing that gap slowly, but 4 laps to go, he might not have enough. Muggleton in third, Ruggier, then it's Riches and McLaughlin battling for 5th. Less than half a second between these guys. And just getting the official word that Justin is actually saving fuel.
Yeah, when we've spoken to him in the past, he hasn't been a big fan of the old fuel-saving races, but obviously everyone's a little bit different as far as what they have to save to make the distance around here. So, watching Scotty there, having a moment.
Totally different line. He did a great job to hold on to that. Look at how close he is. 2 wheels in the grass to try and get a move done.
That's what he's trying to do, get that good run out of the last turn and try to get some sort of slipstream. But Vale actually got good pace down that front straight away from Scotty, so let's see what Scotty can do under brakes here.
Oh, he's made a little bit of a mistake there, but it hasn't cost him too much because Vale couldn't get the power down. Michael Fabian currently 7th position. Person in 8th, Hartley 9th. Black and Gallen there, battle still going, not quite as competitive as it was. 10th and 11th. But battle between Riches and McLaughlin, definitely the best battle on track at the moment.
Yeah, Scotty definitely hasn't given up. He's a lot faster through this part of the racetrack than Vale, so if he can get a nice clean run here, he might even think about a dive up the inside here. Let's see. Oh, Vale's onto him.
Yep. Oh, great bit of driving by both these guys. McLaughlin lights it up. He's going to lose a lot of time.
That's hard when you're trying to get the power down. You know you want to get up the inside, but the rear end just broke loose.
2 laps to go. Not much left in this race at all.
This is probably the battle on track out of everything. Richard Hampstead got himself a 1.4 second lead over Madison Down. And then you find Josh Muggleton in 30, so a further 10 seconds back from that gap. So this is really the battle up front. This is the last spot for 5th and 6th.
Mitch Haverill's had a bit of a spin on the start straight. He's hit the pit wall, or the exit of the final corner, and I don't think he actually can get it turned around. And that happened right in front of Richard Hampstead as he's coming around to lap that car with a lap to go. That would have been interesting end of the race. Averill taking out the leaders with a lap to go.
Geez, that's hard-mouth stuff for Hampstead. He would have just been thinking, you're kidding, are you?
Averill's got a lot of damage to the car as well.
Hampstead to go now.
Go Sam, man. Take it away.
I was going to say, half a lap to go for Richard Hampstead. He's really done the job all night. He's had track position over Madison Down, and his pace has been quite good. Nothing in it in qualifying, and these guys have been nose to tail all night. He's done a brilliant job, comes off the last turn here at Oran Park for round 2 of the Iracing V8 Supercar Series. He does the job. It's Richard Hampstead taking the win over Madison Down and Josh Muggleton in third.
Great drive by those front 3 guys. Justin Ruggie will come across the line in 4th position. Rich is trying, Muggleton a big drift through the final corner. Rich has still got a battle with McLaughlin. No doubt McLaughlin will be trying to get a move done.
Looking.
Oh!
I was just waiting for a bit braille there off the last turn, but Scotty thinks better of it.
Great work by those 2 guys. Fantastic, and it sounds like McLaughlin's actually out of fuel right at the moment too. Riches will finish 5th, McLaughlin in 6th, Michael Fabian, great drive by him for 7th, John Emerson 8th position, Robert Hartley will come across the line in 9th, Simon Black will hold on for 10th position over Paul Gallen. Matthew Barron will come across the line in 12th, and Anthony Canarch in 13th. Dylan Goulson, Chris Lucky, then Dylan Goulson, Mitch Abril, Carwin May, Cal Watmore, Marty Atkins, George Maris, Lee Ellis, Sam Collins, James McKnight, Michelle Carina, and Sean Kelly. What a fantastic race.
Had a bit of everything, didn't it? We had some carnage and some good racing and fuel saving to throw in as well. So yeah, brilliant job. I think Hammer would be quite happy with that result.
Yeah, I think he'll be very ecstatic when we get him in the commentary box very, very soon. It looks like he might actually be out of fuel. Going to do his donut? No, here he goes.
Always got to save a little bit for party time. Although, has he killed it?
Yeah, he's out.
So just as I say that, you don't save any for party time.
We'll no doubt be speaking to him very, very soon. But fantastic race tonight. Great to watch, and a lot of entertainment as always.
You're not wrong, mates, for an interesting points battle too. Madison Down taking the win last week, then Richard Hampstead this week. So, yeah, good stuff.
Fingers crossed we'll be able to have the championship standings when the guys come and join us very, very shortly. But we'll quickly run through the results again. Hampstead from Down, Muggleton, Ruggier, Riches, McLaughlin, Fabian, Emerson, Hartley, Black, Gallen, Barron, Knitch, Lucky, Goulson, Abril, May, Watmore, Atkins, Maris, Ellis, Collins, McKnight, Carina, and Kelly.
So now we start to look ahead. Like you said, next week it's a whole different ball game when we head to Zandvoort. It's the national circuit, the shorter circuit at Zandvoort. So, yeah, that should make for some interesting racing, and no doubt a lot of the guys will probably start testing sometime tonight. Yeah,
and then after that we're into endurance mode, 3 pit stop races back to back, which should be very, very exciting. We're off to Watkins Glen, new format of Watkins Glen. First time we were doing the boot circuit. Then we've got our traditional Spa endurance race, actually an extra lap this season around, so 175 kilometre race at Spa, and then we go to Twin Ring Motegi, which is probably one of the most exciting races we had last season.
Yeah, great racetrack. I can't get enough of that place, so I'm looking forward to running the V8s here. A great little circuit. So yeah, no doubt the guys will turn it on for us.
I'll just get Richard Hampstead to come down for a chat. Don't interrupt him. I think he's talking to the other guys at the moment. Here he is. Congratulations, Hammer. Good win tonight.
Yeah, thanks guys. That was pretty epic race. It's pretty much the same as last week between me and Madison, just sort of reversed. It was, qualifying laps all the race through, and yeah, I'm just pretty exhausted, but also pretty happy with that.
We touched on that a little bit, saying that Madison got it last week, you this week. It sort of shapes up for a good points battle in the early stages of the championship.
Yeah, well, I mean, both finished first and second both races so far, so it's pretty tight. Unfortunately, he got a bit of better points haul last week, but there's not much more you can do about that.
I think it's only 2 points separating first and second in the championship, so we're shaping up for a good one the whole way through.
Yeah, well, let's hope so.
We said you were talking a little bit through the telecast about Tao. There was a touch of fuel saving having to go on to go the distance. How was it for you, mate?
Yeah, not much of an issue. I just was lifting at the end of the main straight every lap, and that was enough for me. So it wouldn't have cost me any time at all. Maybe half a tenth a lap.
You know, next week, practice for next week going to start nice and early, considering another new circuit, Hammer.
Yep, I'd say so. It's a new circuit and one I've struggled at a bit in the past. So, well, you mean the other version I have struggled a bit in the past anyway. So, yeah, I'll be on to practice pretty early for that one.
We'll go to Madison down P2 tonight. Mad got pole, but not quite good enough to get off the line again.
Yeah, it's what I was worried about. Being such a long run to turn one. Yeah, it was always going to be fun to lead with my excellent starts every week. But I actually thought I got a good start tonight and still got swamped. So yeah, something I've definitely got to work. I think the car's fast enough to be to obviously be running up the front, winning races. Just need to get it off the line a bit nicer. But yeah, well done to Richard. You know, you got to win these races with a complete package, and obviously he's got it at the moment.
You had a good race all night, buddy, with Hammer, and you know, how was it fuel saving? Was that more of an issue, or was it just sort of pace wise with setup?
I actually found in the opening race, the one that's not broadcasted, I was really struggling saving enough fuel, but in that one just then, I ran a lot faster all race, plus saved the fuel easily. So I think as long as you're really smooth and drive to the apexes properly and all that kind of stuff, it's not too hard. But in the first race, I was just overdriving it way too much and using an extra 100 mils a lap. So like Hammer said, you lift a little bit early into the kink and just make sure you're really smooth when you apply the throttle, and it's no problems at all.
And also a good result for TTR, mate. The Tats.com Falcon in second place, and Hype Simulator Falcon with Muggo in third.
Yeah, good one for Tats.com and Hyper this week. We 2 cars on the podium, so yeah, definitely a good result for us. I'm sure we're all pretty pleased, and yeah, again, thanks to all the guys in the team for all the setup work. The car was pretty quick tonight, just not quite quick enough to beat Richard, unfortunately. But yeah, cheers, guys.
To Muggo P3 tonight, you're shaping up for a good battle with Justin towards the end, but Justin unfortunately had to fuel save. But well done, Muggo.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Pretty happy with that. Had decent pace here all week, pretty much. So yeah, happy with another podium. It's great.
Mate, took a bit of time away from V8s there last season. It's good to see you back. You'd be pretty happy with your results so far. Not a bad start to the season.
Yeah, well, the brake's working so far to come back nice and fresh. So hopefully we can keep it going and yeah, build some points and hopefully start challenging for some wins.
Fingers crossed for all of us that you'll be challenging for some wins soon. We know the fans out there like you're winning, including us. We're your biggest fans.
And likewise. Yeah, no, they're pretty
thanks,
dedicated. I'll have to pay them off sooner or later. So.
I still feel bad that you won a race and we didn't broadcast. So that was terrible.
As you should. As you should.
Something going on there, boys.
We'll go to Justin. Unlucky tonight, mate.
Yeah, a bit of a shocker actually. This season where me and Scotty included are finding these cars quite difficult to drive, and really haven't got the handle on the setup to make these cars drive really well off the turns. So yeah, we've got a lot of work to do, and we'll just have to keep pressing on. But I'll tell you what, I'm impressed with Josh's save at the end there. I don't know how he kept it off the wall. I thought I was going to get that in the bag, and he kept it off the wall and then drove away from me. So I was spewing, mate. But then 5 laps to the end, it said, you need a pick, you need fuel. I said, what? So yeah, I had to save fuel at the end. So anyway, it's a pretty boring race from where I stood. But congratulations to the top 3 guys. They're just in a class of their own, and well done to them.
Now, obviously, Oran Park is reasonably new to a lot of us, and it's the first time we've actually broadcast the race. It was New Year's Eve when it was in last season's race. How did you find setting up and preparing yourself for Oran Park, Justin?
We've really struggled, mate. Even Alton Park. I mean, it'd be great if you could see an onboard about see the amount of correction I've got to do sort of in the turns. It's just amazing, and I can't sort of be consistent. In qualifying's all right. You can just do one lap and sort of match the steering angles and all that kind of stuff and get it off the turn. But 40 laps trying to be consistent, mate, just wears you out, and you're driving how you shouldn't be. And look, I don't know how we're going to be for the next round, if we're going to be consistent or not, but we'll just have to keep trying different setups, and between me and Scott work out a way where we can catch the guys.
So for you, practice start nice and early for next week with off to Zandvoort National Circuit?
I would be, I just don't know where to start. Yeah, well, hopefully maybe we might put some laps in tonight. Scotty's got a big schedule coming up, and yeah, hopefully we can put something together and get these qualifying times down nice and early, and then concentrate on a race setup, which is crucial.
Now, speaking of Scott joins us in the commentary box. Mate, P6 tonight, you had a battle pretty much all race long with Iracing. That was good fun to watch towards the end.
Yeah, pretty fun, man. I gave him a little bit of a tap, which turned him into a half spin, so I backed off and went back to it again, and other than that, it was pretty smooth sailing, so good fun, and he drove pretty well under pressure, that's for sure.
How difficult is it, mate? You know, we touched on earlier when you did your hot lap about obviously things outside of iRacing. You're busy with other commitments, but to jump straight back in and try to qualify and turn laps and get used to it all in the one night, does it sort of make it a bit difficult?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it does make it a lot more difficult, but it's a game I'm in, and I'm loving every second of it, and I love coming on here and having a bit of a race with the boys, and it's good fun, so love it.
I've probably got the most important question. How are you finding Melbourne?
Loving it at the moment. The weather's good. As soon as the weather turns a little bit nasty, I don't reckon I'll like it.
It won't be long, mate. You won't have to wait long at all.
Yeah, I was going to say, give it a week.
I'm missing Mum's cooking a little bit, but hey, gotta get around that. 2-minute noodles tonight went down a treat.
Good stuff. Go Rob Hartley. Good drive tonight for you, Rob.
Yeah, on a tough track. It wasn't too bad. It was skating all over the place, but such is the fun.
You had a pretty good battle there, catching up to John Emerson and Michael Fabian while they were battling together. So yeah, probably got a pretty good view of that one.
Yeah, had front row seats to that little battle, which was good to watch. Those two were pretty quick all night, and seeing them close together like that was interesting from my point of view, anyway.
You've got to be fairly happy with your results, mate, so far. Your name sort of keeps popping up more and more consistently throughout the broadcast. It's good to see you up the pointy field. You'd be pretty happy with your results?
Yeah, so far so good. It's good to see Ryan's, the team boss is paying you guys enough money to get our sponsors out there. So
We like to try and share it around as much as we can.
No, it's all good. Yeah, really enjoying it. It's coming together really well. We've got a couple of new guys this season, and we're really starting to put the setups together really well and working together really well. So it seems to be working.
And the last person, another one's joined us in the commentary box, Anthony Kernich. Kernich, you there, mate?
Yep.
Mate, it's good to see you be fairly happy with your results. Some good race and a little bit different to what you're used to. It's normally the oval track stuff for you, mate.
Yep. Yeah, I've had a pretty good week. I started to get back into this V8, and yeah, I certainly had a interesting 3 races at Oran Park this week. I avoided the massive crash on lap 1 of this race, and just a matter of picking off guys one at a time. It's pretty hard to do, but I managed to get up to 13th with no incidents, so I'm pretty happy with that, considering I'm not the best at this car.
What's probably one of the keys to get your head round? Obviously, like we said, you've got a bit of an oval background. apart from turning the other way, what's probably one of the hardest things to get used to driving this car as far as the NASCARs?
I think it's more just the strange feeling under acceleration, because it's a sort of a big car with a lot of power and not much downforce at the back. So you're fighting all the time coming out of the corners, and a lot of the tracks are pretty tight, so you're close around people and a bit of beating and banging. So yeah, it's certainly different.
Well, I think that might just about wrap us up there, unless you got anything else to add, Mr. Kennedy.
I think we've pretty much talked to everyone. I think we've summed up a pretty fun and fantastic night of racing. Been a pleasure to watch. Thanks, guys, for putting on a great show for us.
Copy that.
Once again. Thanks once again, Sam, man, for joining me in the combox.
No worries, mate. Brilliant. Oran Park really turned it on for us, and yeah, we do it all again next week. We head to Zandvoort for the national circuit, 30 laps. No doubt the boys will turn on some brilliant racing, and look forward to it.
Yeah, sprint round next week. We won't have to worry about fuel saving or any of that sort of thing. So just out and out, flat out race, only 87 kilometres in length.
Yay.
You're a fan of fuel saving races now.
Yeah, I like it in the commentary box, but now I've got my butt in the race seat a little bit more. I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of it.
We won't have to worry about that until about round 8 or 9 now. So a little bit of a rest from fuel saving races. Thanks once again to our director, Seb. Thanks, guys, for joining us for a chat after the race.
No worries, copy that.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
We'll be back next week live from 8:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time for round 3 of the Iracing.com V8 Supercar official online series, presented by Extreme Sim Gear, Direct Clutch Services and V8 Supercar Fan Group. Winner for round 2 from Oran Park, Richard Hampstead.